Hey guys, Marsengan here, bringing a Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we're going to be taking a look at the TEQ 5-year LR Vegito that transforms into Vegito Blue, because of course as part of the GDC celebration he has a temporary buff similar to before the 10th anniversary. We had a bunch of characters get limited buffs leading up to the anniversary, and funnily enough this guy was actually one of the ones that got a buff along with the STR Gogeta. But yeah, that buff has returned for this celebration, and we're going to check him out here on the new Goku and Vegeta team, because he makes a pretty good addition to the team. Now, the weird thing about the unit is, if we take a look at him in-game, his super attacks, this is obviously in base, he infinitely stacks attack, greatly raises defense on the 18 key, infinitely stacks attack and does normal defense raise on the 12 key. And then when we look at his passive, it says boosted for a limited time, and then what's listed here is just his normal passive, right, without the boost or anything. Attack and defense 140, key +4, defense 100% when attacking. First or second attacker, he gets an additional attack that has a great chance to become a super, and as the third attacker he gets a guaranteed additional super and a great chance to evade the enemy attacks. And then of course when he comes in on turn 4 he transforms. So interestingly, it doesn't say like what the buff is, but we know from the info that was posted from like the data miners and stuff, basically what it is in his base form he also now gets an extra 600% attack and 600% defense. So we can see here at the start of the first turn we've got basically just shy of 600k defense. The one thing I will say is a big problem with this guy, if we don't have any support or anything, is that he doesn't really have good key links, right? He only has over in a flash. He does have fused fighter, but we don't currently have any already fused characters on the team, so we can't actually even get key for a super for him here on the first turn, which is pretty awkward. Now normally the main strategy would be you would just float him off on the first turn, because then he comes back on turn 4 and transforms into blue straight away. But with this event being a bit longer and the fact that it's a showcase for him, we can take advantage of one thing that you can only really do if he's on turn 1, which of course is to try and get some attacks off with him here in base, because then when he comes back he'll still be in base. He stacks attack, right, with his super attacks. So if you can get a good few supers off of him in base, he obviously keeps those buffs ready for like when he's transformed. Now the key when attacking obviously is a big savior for when it comes to missing out on key from links, right? So we are still able to at least get the 12 key super. We get the additional from his passive, and then of course he gets super attacked, but he's raised defense what, twice, so that's still some big damage. Double digits from normals, because yeah, that only puts him at what, like he had the 30% raise, so maybe he was just shy of 1 million defense there. So I guess this highlights, even though he has the temporary buff, that does kind of highlight the major issue with him, which I suppose to be fair was still an issue even when he got his Easy A and then on release. Like, he was good, him and Gogeta, when their Easy A's came out, but it kind of ties into what I was saying about the optimal strategy, seemingly, right, for him just being float him off in slot 1, because clearly like his defense isn't crazy in base, nor does he have any like actual defensive tech, right? He doesn't have guard, damage reduction, anything like that whilst in base. And so yeah, eating that super, it's definitely not what you want. So normally, like I say, the strat would just be on his first turn, put him in slot 3, because then not only does he have that 70% chance to dodge, but then obviously he's coming back and then transforming straight away, and then the blue version of him obviously is much stronger. So either way, we'll grab these here. We're going to have the physical Vegito Blue on the next rotation, providing a little bit of support, so that's going to be helpful, as well as links. Like actually being able to have over in a flash and fused fighter active is going to be quite helpful. But yeah, I don't know, from the limited amount of playtime that I've had with this guy and then the Int Rose, trying them both out, I should do a separate like proper showcase video for Int Rose as well. But Int Rose I think seems to be a little bit more impressive. Like obviously he's different because he's not a transforming unit, so he's at his peak. He can be at his peak like fairly quickly, hitting the big attack stats and everything. I guess we could do this. So yeah, now we've got like 648k. We've got a decent amount of ki in the slot here. We're going to be getting the support. Vegito Blue supports all the superclass characters. Oh yeah, so Zamasu can't be killed, so let's not do that. Let's do that. The problem, of course, here though is we could, like, Vegito could very easily just get clapped by like a super from Zamasu. But we'll see how the turn plays out here. I mean, Zamasu going to eat a counter and then some attacks from Vegito Blue here to Rose. Vegito Blue, of course, one of these units that has the potential to be absolutely insane, right? If you get a good RNG. And actually do get like multiple supers. Like we got the triple super turn. So he's putting out like 60 odd million worth of attack. Each attack he does, his attack increases. So yeah, the counter's doing some pretty decent damage. But yeah, 24 million for the 18 key for TEQ Vegito here is pretty good. And then of course we get the greatly raised defense on that turn. So he's going to be at about 1.1, 1.2 million defense here, I think. So obviously still not ideal for him in terms of if he was going to eat a super. I guarantee like that. I can just fit that Zamasu's going to super attack him, isn't he? Okay, good. Because yeah, that would be pretty awkward. Tanking Zamasu's normal to double digits though, that's good. And then obviously when he comes back on the next turn, he is now going to transform. So the big thing with this unit, and like him and Gogeta post EZA, one of the things that gave them a crazy amount of value, which is going to be interesting for this period while he has this buff during the GDC, is the fact that when you transform on turn 4, he has a 100% chance to dodge. That's going to give you some interesting opportunities, like as it always has done, where, you know, defensively, you've then got a unit that you do not have to worry about, like, where is the super going to be on the turn or anything like that, because as long as you know where it is, I guess, you need the scouter. Oh, great. The gods got killed by Rose. Okay. Okay, so we're back to the similar setup here. We're on turn 3. Vegito did super twice on the first turn to get some stacks. I've got the Goku to attack Zamasu just to make sure that we don't accidentally kill Goku Black with him and therefore not get a chance to attack with Vegito. So hopefully we won't suffer the same fate of dying to a slot 3 super here, because Rose should be dead by the end of the turn. But we'll see how we go. But yeah, getting the extra couple of stacks for Vegito early on will be quite useful to see in terms of like how much damage he can actually then do, like post transformation, getting a couple of permanent increases to his attack. Because I mean the numbers for base form are not, you know, they're certainly not terrible. You know, 20 million here, that's without any support. He obviously doesn't have like the fused fighter links or anything like that with Vegito Blue. You do get the additional from his passive. Yeah, I think Rose should die. I guess it depends. The gods are not necessarily going to get a bunch of additionals here because we didn't get a huge amount of ki for them. So maybe I should have got Goku in slot 1 to attack Rose after all. Because I mean, if this was one of those turns with the gods where we picked up tons of orbs and we knew we were going to get like 4 super attacks off here or something, then they would be about to finish off Rose. But of course, he survives with the tiniest sliver of health. I mean, that sets us up well, I suppose, to get the finish here, and then we can... we've got that 2-turn support from Vegito Blue, which will carry over to the next turn. So a little bit of extra support here for Vegito on the next turn, and we're going to get the transformation and of course get the 100% chance to dodge. So a couple of extra attacks. It means he supered 4 times in base, so we got like 4 attack raises before we transformed. So here comes our boy Vegito Blue. Now yeah, this creates a lot of interesting opportunities because, like, say we're doing the new hardest event in the game, Goku Black and Zamasu fight, right? We've got all these attacks in slot 1. Very likely that there's probably going to be a super in slot 1 in this kind of instance, right? So in this case, we know we can just put Vegito Blue like in slot 1. Now bear in mind, so again, we've got the boosted, you can't see the actual boost. Attack and defense 150, guaranteed dodge on the first turn. First attacker 5 key, a guaranteed additional super, and a medium chance of another additional super. Then as the third attacker, key 7, a guaranteed additional super, and 70% chance to dodge. For every attack performed, 1 key up to 5, 22% attack and defense up to 88%. And then when activating the active skill or attacking with 24 key, he gets another guaranteed additional super. And then of course the buff that he gets that isn't shown is 400% extra attack and 600% extra defense. So not quite as much attack as previous, but I would imagine that's probably just because like he does so many attacks. That obviously it would probably would just be that little bit too OP if he had the 600% extra attack, but I guess we'll see how we get on. So obviously we are going to dodge every single attack here in slot 1, and then we drop 19.7. I think the big thing with this Vegito is a lot of the other units on this team build that we can run with the Goku and Vegeta. We're running the 10-year fusions, we're running the 7 years, like none of them are actual fusions like straight away, right, straight up, so they don't have fused fighter. A lot of them don't have over in a flash, so this Vegito doesn't actually have the best link setups outside of the physical Vegito Blue, like on this particular team. But you can see we get a bunch of attacks off. Of course he didn't super in slot 1, but that's fine because Goku will be able to tank it here regardless anyway. I might do the... We could do the Vegeta active skill on the next turn for the team buff. I mean, the thing is with this guy, obviously we're keeping him on rotation because it's a showcase for him, but even transform, like apart from turn 1, where he gives you that option where you can put him somewhere and take advantage of that guaranteed dodge, for the most part he's going to be most useful in slot 3, right? Because he gets a guaranteed additional super, then he has a 70% chance to dodge. Like, as long as the enemy doesn't disable dodge, he's going to be super useful as just like a floater on this team. And with things like the, you know, STR Goku giving 60% extra defense with his 18 key super, like he's going to be in a pretty good spot. When it comes to tanking normals, even if he doesn't dodge, he should be perfectly fine, like for the most part. Actually, this works out quite nicely because I think we can probably use the... if we use the Vegeta active skill here, which gives us the temporary buff, then that probably just kills, and then we move on to the next turn, and then we've got the support like in play. So yeah, that works out quite nicely. So we go on to the final phase here. Now the big thing is, like, Vegito doesn't have any real defensive tech outside of that dodge in slot 3, right? So putting him in slot 2 here, like, he's going to get a bunch of attacks off, and his attacks do raise his defense, right? The 18 key greatly raises for 3 turns. The 12 key greatly raises attack and defense for the 1 turn. So you can see he's at 2.1 million defense. So after Goku gets his 18 key super here, that's going to go up by another 60%. He's going to be over 3 million defense. So we're going to go ahead and do this. We've got all of our links active now because of course we have the physical Vegito Blue. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty crazy. 2.1 million defense here, start of turn. Goku in slot 1 now supering gives him the buff. So yeah, he's like over 3 million defense now. Because he's at 2.1, he's getting 60% extra. It's pretty good. Of course, when it comes to the biggest bosses in the game, just having 2 million or even 3 million defense isn't going to matter too much when it comes to eating a super attack. But the fact that he's going to greatly raise on all of his supers, that's 52 million. Because yeah, that 3-turn buff on the 18 key super is definitely helpful, right? Because when he comes back again, he's kept quite a lot of that attack. So then into the 36. And then this is obviously with the Vegeta active skill support as well. But damn. 52, 36, then 38. Then 41. Jeez. So bro's like, what, 160 mil? And then there's another one at 43. So TEQ Vegito Blue's just done over 200 million attacks, that worth of attacks in that 1 turn. And then, of course, he's going to get supered. And I'm pretty sure this Zamasu hits for like 7 million. Yeah, so typical. What a great... great offensive showing for him, and then unfortunately highlighting very much his big weakness there, that he is not going to be tanking these big super attacks. I mean, on this team it is possible to get some scouter effects active, but realistically you can see with the buff the kind of crazy numbers that he is going to be hitting now. But realistically, you are just going to want to use him as a slot 3 floating unit, get that 70% dodge, because as you can see, he isn't going to tank the big boss super attacks, but he can put out a ton of damage. He's definitely a fun unit to use again during the Global Dokkan campaign with the temporary buff. So let me know what you guys think of him down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.